Hello, all you thoughtfully made people out there. It's Courtney Morrison with Made Architecture and Design, back with another week in review. So on Saturday, we took a family trip to the zoo, spent most of the day there, bopping around the zoo, having a great time. And then on Sunday, it was also a family day, and then we went to church that afternoon. On Monday, I was working on updating the forecast for the business for the last half of the year, the financial forecast for the last half of the year, reviewing the first half, and just trying to chart the course, make sure we're on track and we know where we're going, kind of what the revenue targets are and should be, and things like that. And looking at the overall workload, understanding how much work we've taken on, how much more we can take on or not take on, and just project that out over the next half of the year. Make sure that we're up to, in good health financially as a business. And then I had a conversation with the client about it's a historical remodel. We're redoing most of the house, and we're going to do a mechanical room kind of centrally located in the middle of the house. And I got into a conversation with them about that. They were asking questions about, the location, the size, things like that. And so in most houses that I do, I try to do a true mechanical room, not just a closet, but something that you actually can walk into, can have lights and be well lit and easy to work in and operate in if any equipment ever needed maintenance, and have a little bit of extra space for things that are maybe not accounted for. For instance, if you wanted a whole house water filter, that there will be room in there for that or something. So we got into this conversation, and it's a 2-story house, and I'm showing the mechanical room on the ground floor for access down to the crawl space. And then I was anticipating doing a second mechanical room upstairs for the upstairs space with access to the non-ventilated insulated attic for ductwork to run in the attic. And so they were just asking questions about that. And so I got to explain the approach of, 1 mechanical closet, 2 mechanical closets, top floor, bottom floor, shafts if we have to, go up or down if we don't have a room on each floor. So things like that. It was just, it was a great conversation, and something that I realized I don't always articulate, and I don't think I've articulated here. And also thinking about that, hey, if we do all the mechanicals upstairs or in the attic, particularly like if there's a water heater up there, what happens if it leaks, or worse, it fails. I was telling them that I like to put floor drains in these rooms and things like that. And I got to use the phrase that I learned from Toner Home Performance, that in resilient architecture, we're planning for both success and failure simultaneously. And so I got to use that as I talked through just the mechanical room aspect of this project in this house. So that was great. Really enjoyed that. On Tuesday, I went and met a prospective client and a contractor who, unfortunately, their house burned down and they're going to rebuild. And so I went to talk through that process with them. I've never done any burn work before, so this was new. I'll say it's a lot different when a client approaches me because they're excited to do a project than in this instance where, they would probably have preferred to just live in their house without it being burned down. Thankfully, no one was injured or hurt, but still a very traumatic experience for them. And so I'm hopeful that I'll be able to help them in some way rebuild their house, rebuild their lives, and things like that. So grateful for the opportunity, but tough circumstances. I had lunch with a good friend of mine that day. He's actually, he's a financial advisor. He's our financial advisor. We weren't having a business lunch. We were just having a friend lunch. And so, but it was good to sit down and talk shop with him a little bit and catch up on family and fitness and friends and business and all the stuff that, we like to talk about. And then I had a meeting that afternoon with the client who is doing the HVAC. They own the HVAC company, and they're doing a new headquarters space. I had a meeting with them to talk through some of their layouts and constraints and things like that. It went well. On Wednesday, I had an opportunity to drop my daughter at cheer camp. She was doing a cheer camp that week, and so I got to be the person to go and drop her off, which is rare. Usually my wife handles that, but because my daughter was at cheer camp, I got to come home and have a walk with my wife that morning. And so that was great. So the lunch with my buddy, walk with my wife, and dropping my daughter, obviously those are not architectural things, but one of my main objectives with the Week in Review videos is to give you guys an idea of what I consider a good, healthy rhythm for myself and my family. And so my wife and my daughter, some of my close friends are all priorities in my life outside of the architecture business. I love my business and I love making buildings and I love serving my clients, but ultimately all of this is in service to my family. And so just like to highlight that from week to week, where I get to spend time with my wife or time with my daughter, take a little bit of extra time away, that I have this flexible schedule and I try to make the most of it. And I just want to highlight that for you guys this week. So also on Wednesday, I was corresponding with the Roswell Engineering Department. I have a project there who they got a survey which revealed some creek buffer issues, and they want to do an addition, and we're going to encroach on the creek buffers. But I'm trying to understand from Roswell's engineering team how they would like us to approach that. They have some different variance tracks, and I want to know which one we fit into. But unfortunately, they're short-staffed, and so it's been really difficult to get a response from them. And so still trying to track that down on behalf of my client. And then the grocery store client that I have been working with for a while, doing kind of various things for and really courting for a little bit, verbally has signed on to do a pretty significant addition and renovation to their existing space. So that's great news. And then I provided markups for the HVAC company drawing set. My architect in Chicago who's helping me, I was doing some markups for her, trying to translate, information from the meeting on Tuesday for her to help with the drawings on Wednesday. And then I worked on the historical remodel house that I mentioned just a few minutes ago regarding the mechanical room. So working through options for them on that. And then on Thursday, I had an opportunity. So I'm a big golf fan, and if any of you out there are golfers, there's only 4 majors in the year, and the last one just happened. That's the Open Championship, which takes place in Europe. And so I got together with a friend of mine, an architect and an instructional engineer, to watch golf that morning. So I think we gathered at 6 a.m. because they're broadcasting from overseas, and so the coverage starts really early. Got together, hung out, and watched golf, ate breakfast, and that was just a great time. Again, just kind of trying to highlight a little bit of my weekly rhythm for you guys. And then I have mentioned on here before that I'm co-leading a small group through church with a buddy of mine, and so I had some work to do for that on Thursday in preparation for meeting on Friday morning. And then we had our small group meeting on Friday morning, and then at lunchtime I had lunch with the new interior designer for the pizza restaurant that I've been working on. So I talked about this in a previous week in review. We had an interior designer, he decided to step away, and then we brought in a new one. And so I went and had lunch with her at the pizza restaurant, walked her through the scope, talked about the quirks and features of the space, and what the client's expectations were and stuff, to try to help her get up to speed as quickly as possible. So that was good. I'm really glad she's involved, and I'm grateful she was able to jump in at the last minute, and hoping it'll be a great project for her as well. So that is all I have for you guys this week. If you have any questions about who we are, what we do, how we do it, I'd love to interact with you guys in the comments below, or perhaps in a future week in review. So if you don't mind, please like and subscribe. It will be a big help. And in the meantime, you guys be particular, and I look forward to talking to you next week.